All right. So I just realized something incredibly scary. If you're like me, you work at McDonald's. But even getting a job at McDonald's is becoming harder and harder. I believe that either I know someone that's unemployed or I know someone who's close to them that's unemployed. We have gotten to a ratio in this country where it's getting absolutely frightening and no one has job security. Absolutely no one. Your boss doesn't, his boss doesn't, all the way up. And this isn't by coincidence. The layoffs are coming in the thousands daily. I mean, the latest victim is Blue's significant other who got laid off yesterday in the tech market. And what did they do? They just passed the work on to his coworker. They didn't hire another person. At McDonald's, this is becoming evident that it's just not a society that's sustainable. You can't keep treating people like garbage and expect for them to keep showing up motivated because that's not how it works. Most people don't have careers. I've never had a job that was a career. I never had a job that I thought I was going to be there for more than a few months. I've never had a job where I didn't show up and I wasn't financially strained to the nth degree. In fact, yesterday I made a credit card payment and then I got an email back that said, "Oh, thank you, you're out of collections now." I was like, "What?" The truth is, half of Americans have given up on trying to pay back their credit cards. The last couple of years was very rough. I was buying my groceries on credit cards until I maxed out all my credit cards and then I was screwed and then you got to figure it out. We're always trying to figure things out that we shouldn't have to figure out. As long as you're working, you should make enough money. We shouldn't all be scraping by like this. This is disgusting and despicable. All right, let's get into our opening log. So, this video is actually a rehash from the third most popular video that I have created on this channel. And my last couple of videos have done really well. So, I'm racing to 5,000 subscribers at a pace that this channel hasn't seen in months. In fact, I only have, it looks like I have, I'm gonna say 68 left or 78 left. I got like 30 subscribers just last night. And for me, being a little channel, that's a lot. But let's get into our opening monologue. Every Monday morning feels like pressing repeat on a song you hate, but can't turn it off. You show up, do the same meaningless tasks, tell yourself it's experience, even though you know it's just slow motion career decay. In today's job market, you either settle for low wages, high turnover work, or face absurd requirements for jobs that still won't pay a living wage. This isn't a ladder, it's a loop, and the exit sign is always out of order. It's very true. That $16 an hour job is waiting for all of us. Whether or not you can afford to take it, well, we both understand what that is. It's not like we want to take it. I had some loser in the comments yesterday tell me, "Oh, you signed up for this job." Does anyone really want to sign up to work at McDonald's? Does anyone really want to make $16 an hour? No, but you have to take it because you're going to walk across the street to Jack in a Box or Taco Bell or Chipotle or some other Popeyes. It's all the same place. It's the same wages. It's the same kind of dead end work that we're all accustomed to doing it. I've been doing it since I was a teenager. Things don't change. You just get older, you have more experience, and you just get better at swinging the fries in the drive-thru. But at the end of the day, you get your Happy Meal and you go home and you sit down in your crappy house. And if you have food, consider yourself to be lucky. Because a lot of people in America right now don't have food. And for all those idiots out there that keep telling themselves, "Oh, I live in a first world country." No, you don't. You live in a third world country with the rest of us because we're not making it. And anyone who thinks, well, I'm doing better than I was a few years ago, good for you. That's not the general population. Most of us are stressed out of our minds. and we don't know what to do. There are so many people out there that just don't know what to do. I mean, Blue told me that her significant other doesn't qualify for unemployment benefits. My friend last year, when she got fired from the call center in July, they didn't give her unemployment benefits for 3 months. There was a work requirement behind unemployment benefits. Can you imagine that? You just lost your job, but in order to qualify for unemployment, you have to get a job? What kind of backwards piece of crap country is this? I don't get this place. Like, instead of helping people, they treat you like garbage the second you're not working. And believe me, these corporations aren't interested in hiring. They want to make it look like they're hiring, but they're not hiring. The ghost jobs are such a problem that I believe Canada is enacted laws saying that employers aren't allowed to do that. They have a certain amount of time where they get fined for not replying to the job posts that they make. And that needs to be done here. Because showing on paper that you're growing isn't it isn't fair to the people that have to waste hours of their time getting on a city bus, going to a job interview where there is no actual job. It's enough to not get hired as it is to walk into the job interview and they'll find someone who will work for less money that has more experience and a better education than you. I've been there throughout my entire life where you walk into this job interview and you can already tell you're not going to get the job. I've actually walked into job interviews, looked at the people there, and just walked out. What's the point of wasting my time and your time with this dog and pony show? All right, let's get into talking point number one. So ChatGPT recently updated itself, and I'm talking very recently, within the last 24 or 48 hours, and it's doing some weird things now. And I don't understand why it's doing them, but I think they updated their guidelines because it's becoming even more reclusive, more difficult to talk to, and the quality of its work is degrading. And I'm not certain why or what happened. A year ago, I used to be able to just tell ChatGPT, create me a thumbnail. Boom, it did it. There's 600 of those thumbnails. May 1st, that ability went away. I had to reinvent the wheel in order for it to start creating thumbnails and backgrounds again for me. And I have to purchase another program called Crea AI in order to create thumbnails because ChatGPT simply lost its ability to do that feature. And so yesterday it changed again and I gave it what I wanted. I want you to design me a prompt for background for this video. It can't do it. It keeps drawing the same cookie cutter stick figure over and over and over again. So I had to change my parameters again into it in order to create it. So it's doing the same thing with these talking points. It's either telling me to explain to the end user how this works. And I'm like, that's not what I want. I want a statement like what you were giving me before, and it can't do that anymore. Anyhow, this is what it's creating. Most entry-level, low-tier corporate jobs are designed with no real path for advancement, keeping workers trapped in a role that never exceeds survival wages. If you don't believe that, walk into any corporation in America. The people that stay are the people that get punished. Because I was just talking to my friend about this 2 days ago. So she got fired last year because she wouldn't play by their rules in this corporate call center. The only two people that are still left there are the people that don't do anything, don't say anything. They're the people that when I worked at Insight, they're the people that are still there. The people with the 5 to 10 year trophies making $16 an hour. They don't leave. They settle in, they get punished, they get suspended, and they just stay. I mean, when I worked at Kroger's, people were constantly getting punished at work for either laziness or a lack of motivation, but it was a constant thing. You see the same people getting in trouble in the same way nearly every single day. And I thought to myself, why do these people stay? Because they don't have any options. There are no other jobs, better jobs to graduate to. In fact, most people right now, when they lose their jobs, inevitably we will all lose our jobs anyway, most people have to take a step down. And that might be two part-time jobs working McDonald's and Burger King back-to-back shifts 7 days a week, or it might be even worse, long-term unemployment and eventually ending up living in your car. Like Claire on the road. Yesterday she did a video last night in which she ran into a troll in her comments that said that she was glorifying living in your car. I assure you, living in your car cannot be glorified unless you're living in an RV. It is cramped, it is hard, it is repetitive. It is very difficult to live in your car. Imagine it's your entire apartment in the space that you're sitting in right now. How could you possibly manage that? And then you add on to that an animal living with you, and that just makes things even worse because now you're stuck with wherever you can go with leaving an animal in the car. And I don't think you're allowed to leave them in this heat. So you are literally stuck in that car because you choose to have an animal. And that's the thing that I don't understand about a lot of people with their pets. Pets limit your life incredibly because you can't leave. Like if you have pets, then you have to feed them every day. In fact, I was talking to my friend who wants to get another reptile, and she's like, well, I can keep getting more pets. Theoretically, yes, you can get one pet and then that's it. But most people want more. That's why people own 1, 2, 3, 4 cats or dogs or fish or whatever you own. But you got to take care of it. And that makes you incredibly less flexible with your time, your schedule, and what you do. Because, and this is a perfect example. I was hanging out with Mello last week, and there was something that it hit a certain time in the day, and she automatically like turned, like something in her brain. I could see it the second she started feeling uncomfortable. Like I could see it in her eyes. Something was wrong, and I couldn't put it together. And it's, guess what? My animal. I got to take care of my animal. It's almost instinctive. And I've seen it in a lot of people that they have to do these things. And you're kind of just like, okay, well, what am I going to do if I can't feed myself because I don't have a job? Well, what do most people do in that situation? They take their animal and they leave it somewhere and let someone else deal with it. Because the last thing you want to do is not be able to feed your animal because you can't afford to feed yourself. That was a long one. I went off on a lot of tangents there. So let's go to talking point number 2. The illusion of career growth is used as a control tactic, selling hope and loyalty without delivering actual promotions or meaningful raises. Meaningful raises. What does that even mean? I remember I got one raise at McDonald's a long time ago, and that was it. And you're talking about a person who busts their hump. I mean, this week was just the amount of French fries that I had to make in 1 week was absolutely abominable. You get to a point where it's 118 degrees outside. You're inside, but you're still rotting in your job because you just get to a point where there's nothing you can do anymore. There's not enough hours. There's not enough. You don't have the patience. You're always scared. You talk to other people who are scared. And it's that all day long. It's popping out of one conversation, talking to another person, knowing full well that all these McDonald's workers just got fired. And you kind of just put your head down and you wonder, it's like, when's my turn going to be? Because that's really what it comes down to. They don't care whether or not you eat or not. They don't care where you live. They don't care whether or not your family goes hungry or you lose your home. You are just a number on a spreadsheet. We all are. That's why when it comes to promotions, I sometimes look at my fellow McDonald's coworkers in their ridiculous uniforms and I think to myself, you know what? This guy's probably not going to be here tomorrow. Why? Because that's the reality of things. And most of the people that I know, I'd say at least 90% of the people that I know have to have either a side job, a side hustle. They have to do something else in order to be able to make money. Their weekends aren't spent relaxing. Their weekends are spent like my weekend. Right now, I'm doing this to make money. And this is my hobby slash part-time job. And after this, I'm gonna have to go figure out some other way of making money. But that's how we all live. We're not expecting to get promoted. We're not expecting to have any sort of meaningful increase in our wages or lesser hours. No, it's all about getting you to work more. And as I keep telling you guys, scared workers work a lot harder than comfortable workers. And that's why the system's created the way that it is. Talking point number 3. The job market forces workers to choose between underpaid, high turnover positions, and hyper competitive roles with unrealistic requirements, ensuring most people remain stuck. That's what it is. Most people will remain stuck. And most people, because they know they're stuck, what do? You reach for hope in the form of lottery tickets. Poor people are notorious for keeping the lottery system fully funded. Because if you know you're stuck and there's no way out, your only chance, the only little lever inside of your brain that you can keep hitting over and over and over again is playing the lottery, hoping that you will win and you will become rich. Otherwise, the hourly job was never meant to make certain that you could be happy. In fact, it goes in the exact opposite direction. The hourly job is unrealistic when it comes to the reality of the cost of living. That $16 an hour job, well, where's it going to take you? It's not going to take you to your own apartment. I just got asked a question about living on your own for the first time in the comment section. And unless you're making above $50 an hour, I do not recommend that you leave your parents' home. Times are tough out here. It is very, very easy to find yourself unemployed. In fact, this person who asked me about it has been unemployed several times since he's been coming onto my channel and watching my videos. And somehow he keeps getting rehired at a different McDonald's. So he's wandered around from Jimmy John's to Taco Bell to Chipotle. And that's it. That's the wave that you ride every day. There's not really a realistic way of getting out of this. In fact, someone left a comment saying that Indeed or Jobbing, whatever these online sites are, they control the work. And if you're like me, you've been on Indeed for years and nothing new comes up. It's the same rehashed jobs over and over again because most people know what a bad job looks like. I mean, I see this every single day. There are certain positions at McDonald's that just cannot be permanently filled, and they're not designed for permanent workers. That's the job economy we have in our current society. There aren't permanent jobs out there. They're just one wave after another. You get on the wave and you fall off and you hop on the next wave, and every day it's Surf City. And not with the U. Surf as in SERF. Surf City is where we live. And we can't change that. Corporations have nothing to gain by providing jobs with work security. Work insecurity works much better for them. Every chance that they can make a job with less benefits, that money goes straight up to the top. They don't redistribute it among the regular workers. Every time that money is saved, it is funneled to the top. That's why if they've got 5 guys all working on jobs that they could consolidate into one guy, and then tell that one guy either you can do all these jobs or you can find another job. That guy's going to hold on to it until he finds something better, and then he's going to take off. In fact, at McDonald's, you have some people who will apply to like 4 different restaurants, and then they'll get hired at whichever one hires them the first. And even though they already started the paperwork to start working there, they never start. And that's just the reality of work out there, is you're going to be applying to, 50 jobs a week. And guess what? Those 50 jobs probably aren't going to call you back. And when you finally do get a call back, like there was this guy that I knew that was working at McDonald's one time, and he got a call back for a job that didn't hire him like 3 months before. And then they asked him if he wanted to come back to the job, and I was like, okay, go ahead. And so there's no loyalty. I never expect any worker to come back the next day because there's no reason to. The wages aren't good, the work conditions aren't good. Nothing about working at McDonald's is good. You just come home, you wash off the smell of fries, you put a little chicken grease on your body, and boom, you go to bed, you wake up, and you do it all over again. All right, here's the closing monologue. The dead end job epidemic isn't about lazy workers. It's about a system built to keep you treading water while calling it progress. The only corporate world thrives when you confuse survival for success. The only real promotion most of us get is being moved from one flavor of misery to the next. Until the system changes, the smartest move you can make is planning your escape instead of polishing your prison cell. Well, I don't know about you guys, but where I am, sure, there's even bars on the window just to add effect to this place. You can see the outside, you can see the real world, you can see that there is a life outside these bars. But the reality is, because of what you make, you will never be able to access that world. For the 99%, the only path we know is between where I'm sitting right now and McDonald's. That's it. That's the only world I know. I don't have access to anything else. I don't have time. I don't have money. And leisure has become something that is strictly for the rich. And the worst part is that we have to do all those jobs that rich people pay other people to do. Rich people pay other people to make their food, clean their house, do their chores, personal assistant. We have to do all of those jobs for ourselves on top of our Mick job. And we have to do it with the miserable Mick paycheck that we get every week. And I was watching this video with that weird character, like Kojak or something like that. He's like that white weird character that has an expressionless face, but he's supposed to represent every man. It was showing him doing the struggle of everyday life. His day job was driving a delivery truck for Amazon. His night job was working at McDonald's. And then he goes up to his manager and he says, "This isn't enough money. I need to make more money." And it's like, are you telling me you want me to fire you? Because that's what asking for more money is. Because what it seems to your employer is that you're ungrateful to make the money that you're making. And at McDonald's, it's always going to be $16 an hour. So I'm going to stop this here and ask you this question. What do you do with your money when you don't make enough money to live? How do you spend that money? Or do you just not have money? Because I think most people can just say, I just don't have any money to spend.